Okay. Um, so I don't know how to intro this conversation, but we're just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna get very distracted throughout this whole video because that's just how I am. Anything that I touch, I have to play with it and distract myself. But um, what I really want to talk about is what happened, how it happened, the beginning to the end, the way every single thing makes me feel, and just a breakdown of what everything has made me think. So for starters, it happened, my mom passed away in 2018, March 1st. She was at home with my dad and my sister, and me and my brother, we were living in Colorado at the time because he was going to go to college there, and I always wanted something different um, other than living here in Vegas. So I went out there to go try to live with him, and a few months in, we get a phone call from my sister in the morning saying that my mom's been in the hospital since last night. So she got to the hospital on February 28th, and once we found out she was in the hospital, we left Colorado and we drove immediately to Las Vegas. And once we got here, we went straight to the hospital. And once we got to the hospital, me and my brother walk in. Like throughout the whole drive, let me just tell you this: we did not speak at all. Like we were just hearing music and just shaking. I remember I felt cold the whole entire ride to back home over here. And yeah, so I remember we walked into the hospital and we saw like everyone gathered around her room because we already knew what room number. And when we got there, we were approaching, and I remember seeing my sister. She was 16 at the time, and she ran up to us and she hugged my brother first, and then she gave me a hug. I think I don't really remember. Um, I do remember right when we got there, I asked the nurse immediately, like, what happened. Um, and then I went in there to see her, and I just couldn't go in there all the way. It was just so terrifying. Like at first I didn't touch her because she was just laying there on she was just laying there on the bed, and she was like full, like she was like swollen, like her body was like swollen, like it didn't, like you could tell like she wasn't alive anymore, like they were keeping her alive. And I just remember grabbing all her stuff and just like looking through all her things like through her phone, because the night before, or the night that it I want to say the night that it happened, she called me and we were on the phone for a little bit, and she was already like, she always liked to have people at the house, so she was busy and already talking to people. So I was like, hey, you're busy. Like, well, you know what, I didn't even say it that nicely. I was like, she was ignoring me while I would talk, and I was just like, okay, ma, you're busy, like I'll talk to you later, okay? And she's like, oh, okay. And like she just hung up. And you don't think much of it, and then to this day that haunts me, that the night it happened, that she called me, and I didn't really spend a lot of time talking to her. And then, yeah, so I'm in the hospital room and I grab her phone and I'm just going through all her phone, just like messaging everyone that she cares about and calling my aunts and my uncles and like calling them and telling them what happened. And I just remember crying on the phone with everyone. And after that, we were there. I want to say we got there the 29th. And it was like 5 o'clock. So it was kind of already late. So we were already gonna just stay there and stay the night. I remember I slept on the floor. And then it was the morning, and then they told us in the morning that they were going to take her. And it was like, when we got there, like, it was obvious to everyone, like, that they were not going to keep her, like, there. Like, they were just going to pull the plug. Like, that was just always known. I don't really know what, like, how she died. I really don't fucking get it. It was like she had a seizure and then I guess her brain stopped working. I don't fucking know. I just know when I got there she was like shaved right here and she had like a cut. And she was yeah, she had a cut on her head. And I don't get it. I don't know how it happened. And I forgot what I was saying. Well, yeah, it was just always known. Apparently everybody knew her plan. Like, she wanted to be buried in Mexico with her grandma, and she wanted to be like some of her ashes to be spread on my grandma's mango tree. So her ashes were took to Mexico. So we didn't even have a funeral either. So that makes it feel like you never got closure. But yeah, that's basically what happened. We weren't even here. My sister, my little sister was there, and my dad was there. And me and my brother were together. So what followed after that was just my dad just never really worked very well, so we lost the apartment that we had with my mom, and they got a storage to put all my mom's stuff and all the stuff that we had, like our, our beds and our belongings and pictures and all that. And everything she gifted us was lost there too because they didn't pay for it. So my brother, he decided to choose a different path, and I hear he lives on the streets from some of my friends because where we lived is like, not the richest area where we grew up. And that's the path he chose. So I always thought that he was, because he was in college, like I always thought he was going to like handle everything, but it was just so hard on everyone. Like, we just all got lost in our own ways. Like, my sister, she got in a relationship, so I don't speak with her much at all. And again, my brother chose a different path, and my dad was just like he was just never the home type. He did gamble a lot, so he fell into a relationship quickly, I also heard. And yeah, with all that followed, just always feeling, because, you know, before I lost my mom, I just always felt like we didn't have the best relationship. So, I mean, I honestly got this tattoo because when I graduated high school, I started to learn a lot of things, and I was just like, you know what? Like, treating her the way I did was not right. Like, a lot of things that I did was not, that was not me. Like, I just acted out on anger. Like, I'm not a bad person. I would never want to hurt somebody. I always stand by that. I'm not a liar. So, I just always don't know if she even loved me. So, it just hurts so much that she's gone. And I have no one to talk about her with. And that hurts so much because I miss her. I always dream about her. It's been 3 years already, and it does not get any easier. But yeah, that's that's how that happened. That's how my mom passed away. If you're listening, I would appreciate a comment because, like I said, it doesn't get easier. Every day is harder. I just want to know, like, I watched so many videos about this and, like, worse stuff. Try to relate and move on and grasp it, but it just never makes sense. I just always wish he would just come back. So, yeah, I'm gonna end this, and I love you, Mom. Like I always said, I'm so sorry, but I'm always gonna love you. I wish you were here.